let's transition and go out to Kansas City. Let's talk about the Super Bowl 58 rematch between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs Sunday afternoon in Kansas City at Arrowhead. The Philadelphia Eagles beat the Kansas City Chiefs 20-17. For the Eagles, Jalen Hurts, he had a very pedestrian afternoon. He went 15 for 22. He threw for 122 passing yards. For the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, he went 16 for 29. He threw for 187 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. This is Mahomes' first time having a 3-game losing streak in his career. The Chiefs are 0-2, and this is very unfamiliar territory for the Chiefs. It's their first 0-2 start to the season since 2014. That season, they also missed the playoffs. And the good thing for the Chiefs is, though, there were 2 other teams that started the season off 0-2 after losing the Super Bowl. That's the 2015 Seattle Seahawks. They finished the season with a 10-6 record after starting the season 0-2. They lost in the divisional round of the playoffs. And the 2022 Bengals, they started the season off 0-2. They finished the season 12-4, and they lost in the AFC Championship game. So those are 2 teams that both made the playoffs despite those 0-2 starts to the season in the Seahawks and the Bengals. So as I watched the Chiefs-Eagles game yesterday, it was a 4:25 p.m. kickoff on Fox. As I watched that game yesterday, to me, the biggest reason why the Kansas City Chiefs sit here after 2 weeks played at 0-2 is because they do not have a player offensively that can take the top off of a defense. And the reason why the Chiefs don't have a player that can take the top off of a defense is because Rashee Rice is serving a 6-game suspension. That's because of his incident that took place in March of 2024, where he was speeding on the expressway and he got suspended for 6 games by the NFL. And Xavier Worthy, on the first series in week 1 against the Chargers, he got injured on the first series for the Chiefs. And so the Chiefs offensively, they don't have the personnel or have a player in their offense that can take the top off of a defense. Hollywood Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster are not it. And that's the problem right now for the Kansas City Chiefs. That's the issue. And they can't run the football. Yesterday against the Eagles, Patrick Mahomes, he had 66 rushing yards. He led the team in rushing yards. 66 rushing yards from your starting quarterback? If your quarterback is your leading rusher, you have a problem offensively. And so when you look at the offensive personnel for the Chiefs and them not having the services of Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy right now, and because they cannot run the football, these opposing teams defensively, they are just pinning their ears back and allowing their pass rushers to go after Mahomes. They don't have to respect anybody in that Chiefs receiving room. Nobody. Vic Fangio, he's a defensive coordinator for the Eagles. And he was able to blitz multiple times against the Chiefs yesterday because he knows nobody in that Chiefs receiver room can win one-on-one matchups. So Vic Fangio was able to blitz Patrick Mahomes and it forced Mahomes a few times because he's so smart and he's such a great quarterback. Mahomes was able to get out into the open field and show off his mobility, but there's not any big passing plays down the field because Xavier Worthy is injured and Rashee Rice is suspended. That's the biggest reason why the Chiefs sit here today at 0-2. Also in this game, the interception thrown by Patrick Mahomes in the red zone. The Chiefs were going in to score. Travis Kelce, a play that he has made 1,000 times throughout his career and in practice. He doesn't catch the football, and it's tipped up in the air. It's intercepted by the Eagles, and that was an opportunity for the Chiefs to take the lead in this game. And so, for me, they were competitive in this game. The Chiefs had an opportunity to still win this game, despite everyone knowing that the Eagles were the better football team yesterday. We all knew it. We all knew the Eagles are the better football team today, but the Chiefs still had an opportunity to win this game late. And that one play, I believe it was in the fourth quarter, Tyquan Thornton was wide open. It was a busted coverage by the Eagles secondary. He was wide open, and Patrick Mahomes overthrew Tyquan Thornton. And that was the last opportunity that the Chiefs had to honestly creep back into the game and have an opportunity to win the game. But overall, if you are a Chiefs fan, despite the Chiefs being 0-2, you still got to feel good about your chances, because these are the Kansas City Chiefs that we're talking about. I am not worried whatsoever about the Chiefs in the big picture. But they did lose these first two games against the Chargers and the Eagles. It's not like they went up against inferior football teams. The Chargers and Eagles both are playoff teams in my eyes. So if you are the Chiefs, you got to weather the storm. They got the Giants in week 3 on Sunday Night Football. They should be able to win that game. Now, they do have a tough schedule. I'm looking at the Chiefs' schedule. Week 3, they are in New York against the Giants on Sunday night. Week 4, they're home against the Ravens. That's a potential loss. Week 5, they're in Jacksonville against the Jaguars. They'll beat the Jags. Week 6, they're home against the Lions. That's a potential loss. Okay? Week 7, they are home against the Raiders. That's a win. Week 8, they are home against the Commanders. We don't know the status right now of Jaden Daniels. He's dealing with a knee injury, but that's a game they could potentially win as well. Week 9, they are in Buffalo. That's a potential loss, even if they have Xavier Worthy and Rashid Rice. But if you are a Chiefs fan, just weather the storm and understand the Chiefs will be all right. They will be all right, and they will still win the AFC West. They have Patrick Mahomes. He's still the undisputed best quarterback in the NFL. They have Andy Reid. He is still the best head coach in the NFL. They still have Travis Kelce, who is one of the greatest tight ends in NFL history. Okay? They just got to get back some players offensively that can help them in their perimeter passing game, in their deep passing game. And I said this last week, and I'm going to say it again. I believe that the Kansas City Chiefs will trade for Tyreek Hill at some point this season. And there will be a reunion in Kansas City with Tyreek Hill and the Kansas City Chiefs. Because the Kansas City Chiefs need Tyreek Hill, and Tyreek Hill needs the Kansas City Chiefs in the worst way. In the worst way. So I could see a Tyreek Hill reunion with the Chiefs at some point this season. Because I think the Miami Dolphins, they sit here, they are 0-2 on the season. And to me, I think that Miami Dolphins football team, they don't believe that they can actually win games. They don't believe in Mike McDaniel. I think this is going to be Mike McDaniel's last year in Miami as their head coach. And Tua is not good enough to overcome the shortcomings of that football team. And so I think by week 7 or 8, I think the Miami players, they are going to check out. And I don't really care because they're in Miami. So it's one thing to when you maybe if you're in Green Bay, if you're in Cleveland, if your team is struggling, it's hard to wake up every day. It is hard to get up every day if you're in Cleveland, Cincinnati, Green Bay, Wisconsin. It's hard to wake up every day if your football team is not very good. Damn it, if you're in Miami, you all right. If you in Miami and your team is not very good, it is okay because I can go to the beach and kick it after practice. It's all right. It's a lot of distractions in Miami that can take your mind off of your football team not being very good. But I do think we're going to see Tyreek Hill in Kansas City at some point this season. Now, let's switch sides and talk about the Philadelphia Eagles real quick. Yesterday, Jalen Hurts, he went 15 for 22. He only had 122 passing yards. He had 9 carries for 15 rushing yards. I thought yesterday against the Chiefs, this stat line for Hurts, only having 122 passing yards, to me, this is the reason why some people feel like Hurts cannot be in that elite quarterback conversation. Because you look at his stats yesterday, his stats were not impressive, but he did what he needed to do to help the Eagles win that football game. And so I watched the Eagles in these first 2 weeks. They beat the Cowboys in week 1, 24-20. They beat the Chiefs yesterday, 20-17. And because the Eagles just won the Super Bowl, I don't believe the Eagles in 2025 is going to play like they did in 2024. Last year, they were scoring a lot of points. Saquon Barkley was running all over the field, and the Eagles were trying to score points. This year, because the Eagles already won a Super Bowl and they are thinking about the season being a marathon and not a sprint, I think the Eagles, offensively, they are going to take their foot off the gas when they have leads in these games. And I think that's what they did yesterday against the Chiefs. They had a second half lead and they had control of the game. Could they have scored more points? Absolutely. But I believe because they already were winning the game, I think the Eagles went on cruise control in the second half. They went on cruise control. And I think we're going to see that a lot this season because they don't want to get anyone injured. You got Saquon Barkley at running back. He's the best running back in the NFL. You got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, 2 of the best receivers in the NFL as a duo. They got the best offensive line in pro football. And you still got Jalen Hurts as your quarterback. So you want to be 100% healthy once the playoffs roll around in January. And I think that the Eagles, they're going to be in cruise control if they have leads in the second half of these games this year. And I think they're just going to want to win games. That's it. They're just going to want to win games. And the thing is, when it comes to Jalen Hurts and the quarterback rankings conversation, if this version of Jalen Hurts is what we are going to get, Jalen Hurts will not be in that top 5 quarterback conversation. And it's okay. It's okay because they're winning games. And he's a Super Bowl champion, a Super Bowl MVP. But if this version of Jalen Hurts is what we are going to see this year, he will not be in that conversation with the Josh Allens of the world, with the Lamar Jacksons of the world, with the Patrick Mahomes of the world, because he's not, from a stat standpoint, he's not lighting up the scoreboard from a stat standpoint or a production standpoint. He's doing just enough to help the Eagles win football games. And that's okay because the Eagles and their fans, they don't give a damn about my opinion or where I got Jalen Hurts ranked as far as the NFL's best quarterbacks. All they care about is winning another Super Bowl for the Philadelphia Eagles organization. So those are my thoughts on Eagles, Chiefs in that Super Bowl rematch from yesterday in Kansas City.